Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. So glad you're with us here today. Dr. Jill Hubbard and Mylan Yurkovich. Hi, guys.
Hey, it's great to be with you.
Hey, it's Steve. Great to be with you. I just have to say this, that I think a lot of people celebrated the 4th of July 4 days ago, and they're not free. Mm-hmm. They are feeling like they're in prison in a marriage that isn't working for them, and it's not working for anybody, and they're miserable. And I just think that you need to know you could be free. You could have a totally different experience in life, but you'd have to trust us, and you'd have to join us for the Intimacy in Marriage weekend. Mylan, I am not a liar. I mean, okay, I fudge on numbers every now and then. No, I tell the truth. I am a man of truth. I would not say this if I didn't mean it. I don't think there's anything that a couple could do for one day that would have a bigger impact on their marriage. And I'm not just talking about a big impact. I'm talking about a transformational impact. I really believe that about intimacy in marriage.
Well, they're going to have in 12 hours 6 teaching sessions, 5 small process groups with a trained therapist and other couples. It's not just listening for 12 hours.
No.
You're going to be participating.
Goes fast, I hear.
It is going to be something that absolutely is a powerful intervention in any relationship toward the positive. One of the major things we talk about is reactivity, because reactivity spoils everything, and whether you're highly, strongly emotionally and reactive angrily at some level, or whether you're reclusive and you're silent. These 2 levels of reactivity don't work well for any relationship. So we're going to talk about all that. And Steve, you're right. I don't know how our jokes are going to work really well, Steve, without an audience there to just, howl at our jokes.
No,
you guys are fine just amongst yourselves.
I already tested it.
You laugh at your own jokes. I know. Witness to that.
I know, but so
Mylan,
without an audience, I mean, you did? What kind of test?
Well, first you have to tell them that you're not expecting them to laugh, and then you just have to enjoy yourself, and then they come along with you. But if you're not enjoying yourself, then it doesn't work very well. Anyway,
I was telling a guy a joke the other day, and I started laughing before I hit the punchline, and I could hardly. I'm just like your dad, Steve. I couldn't hardly get to the punchline. I thought it was so funny.
His face would be red. He would be crying before he ever got the punchline out, and I just loved that about him. So I went the opposite direction. And I try to use Sahara Desert dry humor. But any way you look at it, we try to use that to help you kind of get on with looking at the real things. And you will enjoy it. I want you to call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and just look into it. Look into the process of going.
Yeah, I got to say, I just love this workshop for people. And I tell my people that they need to go. I wish I could go, but there's just one small problem. You have to be married. Well, you have to be married.
Or dating.
Or dating or something, right?
Something like that. We'd love for you to come,
But
Jill.
it's such a great workshop.
So Jill tells her people to come. You tell your people to tell their people
to come. Have your people call my people.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now listen, I just said this. I really believe it. Nothing you could do could change your marriage more in 12 hours than this. I mean, it really is powerful. And we've been doing it. We love doing it. We love seeing people come in. They hate each other before it's over with. There's hope for that relationship. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the number. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Go right to your phone calls. Really glad to be with you here today on New Life Live. And if you need a resource like a Life Recovery Bible, Every Man's Bible, something like that, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. All right, hold on. We'll be back right after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, July 18th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and let's go right over here to talk with Andrea. Andrea is calling us all the way from, where are you from, Andrea, listening to WAVA?
Damascus, Maryland.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for calling us all the way from Damascus. How could we help you today?
I'm trying to figure out if I've been taken advantage of for the last 4 years. Me and a friend, both divorced, both have grown children, but I go down to see him in Charlotte, North Carolina. Every time he comes here to Silver Spring to see his mother, he never comes to my home. He's only come one time when I sold the one home and moved to a smaller home, 2017, to fix the computer, but I've never met his children. He's met my son a couple times. I've never met his mom or his brothers. And every time he comes here, it's been a long-distance relationship since 2016. Every time he comes here, it's an excuse. Where before just last week, once again, his mother was in the hospital on Mother's Day and put her in rehabilitation. So he's been cleaning her apartment.
Okay, so why are you doing this with him? Why are you continuing with someone who is not even making you a part of his life? You've been doing this 4 years. If he was interested in you, he would have said, I think we ought to solve this distance problem. And in that, the fact that that didn't happen within about 6 months or 9 months would be an indication that you're being abused or taking advantage of, as you said. Have you loaned him any money by any chance?
Never, no.
Okay, good.
No,
All right.
neither.
Well, that's good. Good for you. But I'm just curious, what's in this for you? Why would you continue with someone like this who is showing you how they feel by what they do?
I just figured, well, after the divorce, he was the first guy I met after being divorced after 12 years, and we were compatible. Both
well, right. I get all that, but why would you continue with all of this? You're asking us, for some advice. I want to give you the best advice ever. And so it just revolves around, why would you now, no matter how it got started or what it could have been, it isn't going anywhere. And the longer it isn't going anywhere, the more I long for you, to move on from this guy.
Yeah, I just figured, since I invested so much time in it before, that at one time he was trying to come back on the East Coast. And
sure.
He's still trying since his mother is here, but...
Yeah. Well, let's hear what Mylon and Jill have to say.
And do you talk to him about this? Like, has this been a topic of discussion?
When I talk to, yes. He says he's trying to get back here to the area.
But that doesn't explain why when he visits, he doesn't see you.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah. There's no explanation for that other than he's not that interested in you.
Or he doesn't want his family to know. Like when you come and visit him, is it good? I mean, it must be somewhat good. Okay.
And then I go, he's part of a fraternity. He does introduce me to his brothers, or I'm always selling tickets for him for the fraternity for his AK brothers. But when he comes here, he says he's going to come to dinner. I prepare dinner. There's always an excuse.
Oh.
Even over the holidays when the family was here, he could come and meet my family last Thanksgiving or Christmas, and he was in the area with his family. There's always an excuse. So now that happened again last week, and with the holiday. So
I hate this for you.
I know. And so it's like, you know, almost to have the discussion with him and with yourself that this is confusing behavior. And after 4 years, it hasn't worked out. And Andrea, you know, going through a divorce is really traumatic, and it's easy to, you know, end up in another relationship and appreciate the comfort that that brings in getting through a divorce. But now, like you said, you've invested time, and it's hard to let go of something when we've invested time. But you have to look at, what are you recreating here? You divorced. You got out of a situation that wasn't good. So this may seem, you know, may have seemed different, and he has different qualities, but sometimes we're just getting a variation of something very familiar and similar. And maybe it's time to not be exclusive with this guy, at the very least.
Mylon, you have a thought for her, an encouragement
Well,
for her?
you're asking, is he taking advantage of me? And so I would have to ask, what are you giving him? Because in order for somebody to take advantage of you, you have to be extending yourself in some way. Now, I heard that you made him dinner and invited him places. Let me ask you the question, is sex involved?
When we see each other once or twice a year, yes.
Okay, so then, yes, in fact, he can be taking advantage of you. You know, there's a lot of men that just are happy to have some sex, and they'll keep that conveniently, you know, handy. And I tell women all the time, if you give a man sexual connection before he says he loves you, and before he says, I want to marry you and commit a life to you, then he doesn't have to work very hard. He doesn't have to try to get to know you. And some men are so shallow that sex is all they want.
And since you're listening to the program, I'm assuming that you're a believer. And what happens is, once you're sexual, then you have to justify that and hang on and say, well, the reason I did this, I actually thought we were going to get married. Even though I knew it was wrong, I thought it wasn't all that wrong because we were going to get married. And so it locks you in. I mean, God is so smart when he says, this thing's so dangerous, I'm just going to confine it to marriage.
Well, God bless Andrea in the sense that the sweetness of Andrea is she's thinking, well, I love this guy so much, and so, you know, why wouldn't I want to show my love to him? And that's the trap we can get into.
Yeah.
And it's natural. It's common. It happens a lot, Andrea. You're not an isolated one-off person here. This is a really common thing, and we're so desperate for connection. God made us in the image and likeness of God, which is community. He made us to want to be with. But I would have to say, with what you've explained to us here, my answer would be yes. He's taking advantage of you.
And you did say it's only a couple of times a year that you even see him. In 4 years. That's not really much of a relationship, Andrea.
Right.
I don't know if you talk a lot in between, but...
Yes, we do. Always text and talk and on the phone, and yes, that's regularly throughout the... And,
okay,
and
so...
Now the big thing is he's concerned since I haven't had contact with him in the last 2 days. He wants to know what's going on, what's changed.
I'll bet he does.
He's gone back down to Charlotte, and he still wants me to come back and visit him the next Labor Day weekend.
You will do yourself such a favor by saying to him, you know, I've stepped back for a little bit and I'm evaluating. In fact, I even call some people to get some advice because this isn't going anywhere. Now, when you say that and you say, I think we're pretty much done, Now he either can step up and say, no, let's get married, which I don't know that that's going to really improve anything, because usually what people do in dating, they repeat it, but it's a little worse in marriage. So you would, though, know whether or not there's something there by his response to you saying, I'm really considering not staying in this relationship.
Now, the other option, swinging way out to the other side, is you just have a platonic relationship and he's your best girlfriend, and you just talk on the phone and chat and chit chat.
And you date other people.
And you enjoy that, and he's like a BFF who lives in Charlotte or wherever it was, and we just talk from time to time. And he's made it clear in 4 years, I don't want you in my family, or I don't want to introduce my family to you. So accept that and just say, it's kind of nice to text somebody every now and then or talk once a week, and just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But if you're not able to, I think you're doing a wise thing by calling us and asking. I'm going to send you a book called Is This the One? And the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to send you a grief workbook and the Life Recovery Bible, because I think if you could kind of grieve the situation here and let it go, I really think you'd be so much better off. You ask our advice, that's it. It's pretty direct. And I wish and hope and pray for good things for you. And I'm really glad that you called. So hold on and we'll get those resources to you. You're listening to New Life Live, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That is the phone number to call. We'll help you any way we possibly can, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Let's go to Cynthia. And Cynthia is calling from Topeka, Kansas. Listens on a podcast. Hi, Cynthia. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you?
Doing all right. Yes, thanks for asking.
Okay. I'm calling because I have a very, very toxic relationship with my 46-year-old daughter. And I want to know, how do you just cut people out of your life that is such a close relationship?
You're saying you're close to her, but she's
you want to cut her out?
No, I'm saying she's a daughter. That's a very close relationship.
Oh.
So how do you just cut that off, cut ties, because it is very toxic?
Well, I think it must be for you to reach this point as her mother. I mean, what is she doing that is so toxic?
Being in a relationship with her is like walking on eggshells. I really believe she's bipolar, but she's never gone to get any help or anything. She's explosive. She's very disrespectful. She's manipulative, narcissistic. At the same time, I'm codependency because I'm used to always running to the rescue because she was irresponsible with her children. So I had to help raise her children. And then, she'll just explode, do something, and then act as if nothing happened. I'm not a drama-filled person. I'm not argumentative. I don't like it. So I don't argue with her or anything like that. But at the same token, it's like that even though we talk and I say that's not all right, it's, she just, I don't know. It just doesn't work. Everything I've tried, it just doesn't work.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty tough place to be. Let's start with Mylan. What do you think here? I mean, this obviously is a young woman who is deeply, deeply troubled and in trouble, it seems like, if she can't even be kind to her mother.
Well, it's not uncommon at all. And her daughter, is 48 years old. She's a middle-aged woman, and she's had children, and the grandmother has raised them. And I would not necessarily toss a diagnosis out that is the reason why, and that is the final answer as to what it might be. I would really want to find out and have that professionally diagnosed. However, your daughter is not a healthy person with all the things you're describing to me. It would be important, if your daughter really wants to get help, to see a psychiatrist and to be assessed. And I see, and I know Jill does, I'll let her speak for herself, I see people dramatically changed with the right medications that help to stabilize an unstable reactive mechanism in their brains and to help them become more stable. So that's one of the things that I think could create a big change for your family. And we will be back right after this.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, July 25th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Cynthia's got a really tough relationship with her daughter, and to the point where she's just wanting it to end.
Yeah.
And to survive here. And Jill, what are your thoughts?
Well, we were just kind of talking about this at the break, and Cynthia, the fact that you are at this point with your own daughter, you've probably tried everything. You know, one idea as a place to start would be to ask her, and obviously at a time when she's not raging, you know, daughter, it seems like I just get you so upset. And I'm wondering, I really want to understand what you feel inside when I've done something and you get so mad at me. What does that feel like to you? And it seems like there are things that just cause such great intensity in you. And that must just feel horrible to have that much upset that you are carrying around all the time. And I'm wondering if we've really missed something here, if I missed something as your mom over the years. And I'm wondering now, you know, as I get older and I start to reflect on my life, that maybe there's some things we could have done to help things not feel so intense and upsetting for you. Would you be willing to consider that? And I'm hearing, you know, I've heard from people that there are you know, new advances in treatments and medications and different things that can really help bring things back into a calmer focus so that then we can maybe work through some of our differences.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that the longer we go, what did you say?
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. I did mention that I tried to get her to get help.
Okay.
I've been doing this since she was 20.
Okay.
The other thing is she's not just this way with me. She's this way with everybody.
Right.
But
Of course
I'm
she is.
talking about me and my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm concerned about myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you,
I
you
can't
have to
deal
set
with-
boundaries. You have to say what works for you and what doesn't work for you. When you rage at me, I can't hear you. Therefore, I can't talk with you right now. Click. So I'm hanging up.
None of this works. I want to know, how do I cut her off? I've tried everything. So my thing is, when you're that close in a relationship, a mother-daughter, or whatever the case may be, is how do you just separate yourself? How do you, if we were married, I would divorce her. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. Mm.
But we're not. She's my child, but
Okay.
I don't have to put up with the
All right.
abuse.
You don't.
So
You don't.
you
That's
could
true.
do this. You could say to her,
Well, why
I don't know what it is, but a lot of things together have caused me to feel so troubled that every time we talk, it puts me in such an unhealthy place. I really can't do it anymore. And so I'm going to take a break. And I don't think we need to talk for 60 days. Let's see if I can get myself back here. In the meantime, I think it would be really good if you took a look at what is at the heart of all this trouble that we have being together. I think if you did a few things and I did a few things, maybe things would be better. But I'm going to take a break. I like taking a break and seeing how it goes, seeing how much she misses that daily connection with you, to see if it might motivate her in some kind of change. That's what I'd love to see. What do you think
Okay.
about
How does
that?
that sound, Cynthia?
Take a break. We're going to take a break.
Yeah, that I can start there. That's a start.
You know, Cynthia, there's a book, I'm going to use an expression you used. It's entitled Stop Walking on Eggshells. And it's by a person by the name of Mason, is one of the authors, and Krager. And it discusses specifically steps you can take to take your life back, is the subtitle to the book. And that's what you're asking. How can I take my life back? She has captured it, and I can't escape the gravitational field. So it's by Mason and Krager, Stop Walking on Eggshells. It's been out for over 30 years. It's a very good book, and it would give you some guidelines as to what you can do to protect yourself. And I'm sorry you're in this position.
Yeah,
I've got one.
it's a very
I've got
sad
this resource for you also, and that is understanding and loving a person with narcissistic personality disorder. And I'm going to send that to you, and that's available to anybody. I think it can really unlock some secrets here. But what we do know is that to just maintain status quo with an out-of-control, demanding narcissist kind of breeds more narcissism. They just kind of feel like they've got a license to do anything, be anything. We don't want that for you. So if anybody's interested in that book, it could really help you. Understanding and loving a person with narcissistic personality disorder. We know this about narcissists. There's usually a very, very deep, deep wound there. And all of this that you see is compensation for that deep wound. Well, if you could ever resolve the wound, just maybe, they would have a bit of transformation, that there'd be some hope that you never expected. That's what we would love to see. We'll take a break right now, and we'll come back. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the number. Radio 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, July 18th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Dr. Jill Hubbard and Milan Yurkovich and Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio. What do you have for us today, Larry?
Hey, Steve. I am really looking forward to the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop online in a couple of weeks coming up. And I have a testimony here from a wife of one of the couples who was at one of our recent workshops, and I want to read this to encourage folks to sign up and encourage those of you that are considering supporting New Life with your financial resources, because this is why we do what we do. She writes, her husband's name is Mike. She says, Mike and I have gone through a lot in our marriage. We fell in love like crazy 25 years ago, and through jobs, children, health issues, addictions, we found this conference, and for the first time ever, we started talking with each other. It's so scary to really see the brokenness in me and in Mike, and how fragile we are, to also see how reckless we have been to each other. I am forever changed. I will never be able to see my husband the same. I have new eyes, ears, and heart for him and for God, and for our marriage.
That's pretty great right there.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, that is exciting.
I'm forever changed, and they are together. So
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, folks, if you can help, please do. We just appreciate everything all of you have given. Those that created the match, those that are finishing it up. You Club New Life members, we couldn't have done what we did through this COVID crisis without you.
No way.
So if you can support us through Club New Life or an individual gift, or if you are Club New Life and you want to add more to the match, or you want to increase your giving, any help we'd appreciate, and we are grateful.
Amen.
So,
thank you, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE. That's the number to call if you can help us. We really do appreciate the folks that become part of the New Life giving family. And there are all sorts of benefits to joining Club New Life, and we'll send you the transformation kit with the Bible and the workbooks and the journal, and it's just a great kit to just transform everything. Well, let's go to Robert. He's calling us over here all the way from Oklahoma City. First time caller. Hey, Robert, how are you today? What's going on?
God bless you, brother. It's because I'm having an addiction with pornography. I've gone through a counselor and through a ministry, and it hasn't helped. I feel like I'm advising them than them advising me. And I'm also a believer, and I go to church, and my pastors want me to serve, but it feels like that's hindering of what God has plans for my life.
Okay. So the question is for us.
I wanted to know how I can overcome pornography addiction, and also have anxiety, depression, and obsessive compulsive disorders.
Okay. Well, I think, if you were to deal with and get in a recovery program for the sexual addiction, I think a lot of those other things would be helped. You never know. And but then you could deal with them realistically. We do a workshop called Every Man's Battle, and most every man that goes has a transformation experience. And so I would say that would be the first option for you, is you go to that workshop. It's a one-day online workshop, and then you follow up in the Sustained Victory group, and they really do help you and encourage you for the long haul. But if you don't ever get help for that stuff that's down there that led to this, and deal with all of the damage that's been done, then usually whatever happens is just kind of a temporary thing. Mylan, Jill, any thoughts for our friend Robert here, who looks like he really wants to make a change? And
Yeah,
that's
Robert,
fantastic.
I'm so glad that you called and that you are seeing this as a problem and are wanting to do something about it. That's a good spot to be in.
Mm-hmm.
In using pornography, you've probably already figured this out. It's an addiction, and therefore, we often self-medicate when we have other things going on. You named a whole list of things going on, but what is important, I think, to get to, and Steve alluded to this, is why am I so anxious? Why am I so depressed? Why am I having to try to control everything to the point where I'm going to something to kind of have a release to soothe myself because I can't contain all this? So what are the things that have happened in your life, the feelings that you've had, the things that you have interpreted that has made life so unsettling for you that you have to act out in this way? So to see that is that you are trying to solve a problem. You're just solving it in a way that creates a whole new problem in and of itself. And so that's why it's so important to go and get the help from people like our team of experts who really understand the ins and outs of this.
Well put, Jill.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Robert, like Jill just said and Steve alluded to, for a brief moment of time, you will get relief from the anxiety, the depression, and the OCD through acting out with porn. It'll go away for a little while. And so they're very correct to say what's driving the bus here, a term I like to use. And one of the things I love about Every Man's Battle, Steve, that I think is super important is you establish a relationship with a cohort of other men to be able to continue to discuss this for an ongoing period of time. It's just not a one and done event.
Right.
And that is one of the most important healing factors. If you can engage in something for a year with a group of guys and you can talk about the journey and support each other and hold each other up, God made us to be creatures of community, and this would be one of the best communities you could get into.
And it's using right relationship.
Exactly.
To soothe ourselves, to contain what we're feeling, to, heal our shame instead of wrong relationship.
Well put.
Right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I'm glad that you called, Robert, and hold on, and we'll get you a copy of the new Every Man's Battle book too, and that's going to help you. But I really admire you making the phone call. How do I stop this?
How
Because
wonderful.
So many men spend so much time trying to convince themselves and other people that it's not really a problem, but it really is a problem because you objectify the opposite sex. You objectify them, you use them, and you find yourself incapable of being in some kind of redemptive relationship with them. It's just kind of all negative. And so you've got a great future ahead of you if you'll go and get the help. And I think you're on the right track.
Now, Steve, I have to say one more thing here.
Okay.
I just have to.
Have to.
Often, and look, I love churches. I go to church, and I love churches. But a lot of times, the leaders of churches don't know how to treat addictions, and they don't know necessarily how to treat pornography, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
It is more of a spiritual exercise and a stop doing this and a start doing that. It doesn't take into account even the things you mentioned, Jill. What are the drivers, the components, the animators here that are deep down inside? And that's why the team at Every Man's Battle is such a great team, because they're highly spiritually strong people, but they also have the practical clinical knowledge to get you through and help you understand the origins of. I thought, Jill, your question was so good. Where did anxiety come from?
Mm-hmm.
Where did the depression come from?
Well,
where
it's
did
so
the
nebulous,
I know, but where
like,
did that obsessive compulsive and how long has it been in there?
Right.
And we have to look back at those roots and oranges. I said oranges because your top is orange. These origins.
But you look at the fruit of it, and that's where you get the orange.
Yeah,
and it's not. Doesn't taste good.
And orange, you're glad we talked about this topic.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Digressing.
So anyway, if you want information, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It really could be the beginning of a whole new way of life. And you know, there's this great verse, Jeremiah 6:14, where Jeremiah was talking about, you know, hundreds of years ago. They treat the deep wounds of my people with superficial treatments. That's what we don't want to see. We don't want someone saying, oh, well, you know, read your Bible more, quote some more scripture. Hey, you have an extreme limitation, and in and of yourself, you're not able to stop it, fix it, and grow from it. So when you decide to get help, now you have an extreme point of transformation where you go from me to God, where you go from my effort to God's power, where you go from seeing my circumstances as everything to really believing God has a plan and you want to be part of it. That's what recovery is about. That's what transformation is about. It's not about, I got to stop looking at this stuff. It's about, I'm going to start being the person that I was called to be many, many years ago. So you call us 1-800-NEW-LIFE. The whole world opens up when we shut the door to addiction, especially sexual addiction. And I'm telling you, we treated thousands and thousands of men, and it's great to see these families stay together and for men to walk with integrity and character. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is the number to call. We'll be right back with our final segment here of New Life Live. But I hope you'll join us tomorrow. We'll be right back here doing this very same thing, trying to help people transform their lives. Hold on. We'll be back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us here today. Let's talk with Celeste, and she's calling from New York, New York, and she listens online. Hi, Celeste. How are you today?
I'm good.
How can we help you?
Question, about 3.5 years or 4 years ago, my daughter came out and said that she's transgender. And in about 2 years from now, she's going to be transitioning. She wants me to call her by a different name. And I've told her, you know, from God's word, I don't feel like I can do that. But I'm calling because I want to know, should I just do it because of respect for her, or should I just stick to my guns?
Yeah, you know, that's a tough one because no one thing ever changes everything. And I just want you to be connected to her whenever she goes through this, if she goes through it. Just a quick question before I turn it over to Mylon and Jill. Well, do you have any suspicions or ideas of how this happened? How she got this idea? Anything from her past that happened that was very traumatic that she's not dealt with?
Well, I know that she has a twin, and they had some issues, but she has worked through that. We brought them up in the church, knowing the Lord. So when she came out, I did not push her away or anything. And she's still, in fact, she's with us. But I tell her that from God's word, I can't change. I can't agree with what she believes because God's word doesn't tell me that.
Yeah.
So she understands that, but she feels hurt because she wants me to call her this name, and I can't. I feel like if I do that, then I'm saying I'm not really following what God wants me to do. And then if I do it for her, I feel like I'm compromising myself. So I'm not sure what to do. We still get along fine. We talk. She's a wonderful daughter. I still call her daughter, but I have to remember I can't even say the word daughter. So
wow, that's rough. That's so tough. Well, let's start with Jill and see what she thinks. I mean, you're kind of asked.
It's such a hard thing, but I think the good part is that you are still in relationship with her, and that you guys are able to talk about these things. I mean, I love that. I mean, I wish you could have more discussions. I think in terms of the name, on the one hand, it's a minor thing. On the other hand, it represents so much for you, as I'm hearing you say. I'm wondering, just on a practical level, is there a nickname that you called her growing up? And
no,
there isn't. There's okay. No. You didn't have any nicknames for your kids?
Well, we call them do it together. So because we have prayed for them, and they were, I can't remember. I was going to say, I'm sorry. Just go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. So I guess my thought was if there was another like nickname or even an endearing name, something like that you could use with her instead, and saying, I'm not, a lot of times kids, they have a nickname at home and they go out into the world and they use their adult name. But when they come home, the family still calls them by a nickname. And I'm wondering if she could almost look at her name as a nickname, like talk to her about this. You know, it's really a hard jump because this is who you have been to me. I'm willing to, you know, honor your choices, but in terms of my identifying you, could we pick a nickname that I could call you at home? Okay. Would that feel somewhere like meeting you in the middle?
Okay.
And you know, she wants you to accept her, and you would expect her to accept you. She knows you, and she knows how difficult this is, and so it's not unreasonable to ask her to make a few little compromises here.
Right. Or it's something that if we're in public, you know, I'll use the name in public, but at home, it's not comfortable for me.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. So,
yeah.
Mylan, you have a suggestion here? Anything?
Celeste, I've walked through this with a variety of different people, and I love what you've done here. You're a loving mom, and your kids are still with you, and you've done so many good things. One of the things I highly respect is that you've told her your honest answer.
Yeah.
Biblically, I cannot endorse this, but I love you anyhow. And I think that's what's important is she so wants you to accept her, but it's important for you to require that she accept you as well if we want to have a true adult relationship. And we can agree to disagree, but still love each other. Now, one of the things that the movement she is in has a lot of militancy in it and a lot of extremism in it, and especially in the requirements of others. I expect you, once I announce this, to start doing something new now. And if you don't, then you're against me. And I would tell her, look, it takes time for human beings to change. You've been my little girl for 20-some odd years.
There you are.
And so I will attempt to make movement as long as you understand my position. I don't endorse it. I don't think you're compromising by saying I will try to honor your request for a new name, but please be patient with me because I've seen you for 20 years as my daughter. And I'm going to try, but I need your patience. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means it's a struggle for me, and I need you to accept my struggle. You've struggled to make this choice. I'm struggling for to make the choice as well. And so I need your help.
And that's exactly what I said to her.
Well, God bless you.
Very good.
Then I can't improve on what you've already done.
Yeah.
You're doing this with a lot of wisdom.
Right, and this is part of the fallout of it, right? I mean, she's making a choice for herself, but that doesn't mean that everybody has to now, you know, validate that 100%. And to make the distinction, you're not invalidating her as a person, right? You still love her essence, her being. She's your child. But that means sometimes you're going to have to disagree. And part of being an adult is that we don't always see eye to eye with everybody, right? But we still maintain relationship.
Yeah. So hang in there with her. Stay connected with her the best way that you can. It's the best hope for both. I'm going to send you this book, How We Love Our Kids. Mylan Kay wrote it. It's a great, great book. Helps you connect with your kids. It's available to anybody else at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We mentioned Every Man's Battle workshop. It's July the 18th. Intimacy in Marriage is July 25th. And Lose It for Life, our weight loss, we haven't this in a long time, August the 1st. So anything that we can do to help you, we want. You don't have to need a workshop to call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We've got a lot of great resources there. Books, Bibles, workbooks, things that could take you to the next level. And then we have this network of counselors all over the country that are ready to help you. You call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thank you, Mylan and Jill. Appreciate you so much. You give so much. You're so wise. You make New Life what it is. Bye, everybody. See you next time. Glad you're with us.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.